What's up, guys? It's Matt. I just wanted to do a video here today just to talk about some of the connotations that salespeople get. I know this is a different video rather than the normal med device sales video, but this is something that I wanted to talk about because I used to obviously have the connotation when I was younger that salespeople were bad as well. I thought, the whole sales career was pretty much just the equivalent of what I had seen in the mall with people that were just running around trying to sell you soap. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today, just how that is definitely not the case, or at least my experience with it once I have gotten into it. But I did want to talk about just a couple things, and the most frequent connotations that I hear all the time. So the biggest thing that I see is that a lot of people think salespeople are pushy. And I mean, to a degree, you do have to, get in and sell your product. But the one thing that I did realize was that you are going to be marketing it to people that could really, really need it. So the device that you're selling, whatever you're selling, you have to have people that would benefit from your device. So ultimately, you have a chance to show people something that they might not have known has existed and could potentially benefit them greatly. When you think of salesmen, like people in the mall that are just running around trying to sell everybody, hand soap, they are doing that with everybody that passes them by, regardless of if they could have been, a good candidate or a good prospect for them. So you do have to be pushy, but if you get into a higher end sales job, it's definitely not going to be what you think it is, like those normal door-to-door sales. So number two is that they make too much money. Now, the way that I view this is that the more money that you get off sales, the more commissions that you have, the more sales you generate, the more people that you help. I am in a job where I am directly, helping people, putting the device on them that is resulting in them to be helped. So for me personally, the more money that I make, I think the more people that I've had the opportunity to help. Some people do just think that, salespeople grossly are overpaid for what they do. Completely understand that as well, but I'm wired up to think the more things that I can close, the more deals that I have, the more people that I have an opportunity to improve their quality of life. So people also do not realize the service component that goes into selling the device. So after you sell the device, especially in what I do, you have to have, service with it. You have to provide good service to people, regardless of if you are an insurance salesman, a car salesman, med device, pharma, there has to be some kind of thing that you're going to be doing on your end of the bargain, why someone else buys on their end of the bargain. So it is an exchange that way. Obviously, they're paying you the money for the service that you are providing. So a lot of people do not realize about this kind of service that entails in it. And usually the better service you get, the better service you give, the more clients that you have. So people don't see that side of things. They just think that they just need to get someone to sign on a piece of paper and your job's done. And realistically, in most forms of sales, it's not done. So the next thing is that salespeople are of a lesser intelligence. I used to actually think this all the time. When I was younger, before I was going into college, in my first year of college, I used to think, the sales like a last resort for people, if they didn't get their college degree and move on to, get that career that they were aspiring for. And what I actually realized was that, some of the people that were my friends that were getting into sales and weren't going to college were already starting to make money. They were already starting to take off with their jobs and careers. And meanwhile, here I am getting myself this 4-year degree, and they're making way more than me without any of the college debt. So, that was something that was sort of a hard pill to swallow, but that is a connotation among younger people that are looking at other career paths versus sales. That was something that I had learned, and now I'm in the most fun job that I've ever had. So for me, it completely all worked out, but it is a connotation that I did have in the beginning, and a lot of people do have of sales careers today. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about was only after personal gain. So a lot of people will think that salespeople are only after personal gains for themselves. Now I do want to preface something. A lot of salespeople do obviously want to get, the higher paychecks, the higher commission bumps, those sort of things, because they work for it. But I do want to say that all jobs that you work for at any company that you specifically decide to work for are all going to want personal gains. within the realm of that company that you're with. So, if you do something that the company doesn't like, they're going to let you go. And, if you're doing things during your day to day that is not company related, they're going to let you go. They're not going to want you to do that. So everybody has their own personal gain, whether it's the company, whether it's you, that they're looking for. Just make sure that, you're helping people along the process. That's why you should pick and choose to align with a company that you believe in, because then, while you're able to reap the reward of that, it's also for a cause that you do believe in. So that's all I really had to say about that. I knew this was a different, really like style of video for, a different thing that I'm talking about, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope the people that are in medical sales now or any kind of sales that are watching these videos do kind of have something to relate to and maybe even has a similar story to me. So take care.